Let's discuss this with the founder of F&F Consultancy in Canada. It joins us virtually this time, Dr. Finn Ditimi. Dr. Ditimi, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Great. So we say December 2nd is World Computer Day. What does it mean really? What are we celebrating, especially for a country like Nigeria?
So World Computer Day is basically us celebrating the opportunities and the global reach that being able to connect to the internet and use devices to be able to not just communicate, but also transact is providing for us, which is also positioning us for the global expansion that is happening around the world, for talents, for opportunities and networking, which can lead back to generating income for people looking to offer digital skill set that is needed around the world.
So I think one of the top conversations around computer and ICT is data protection these days, and we're trying to find a balance between selling yourself or selling whatever brand you have and staying protected online as incidents of cybersecurity keeps increasing.
So cybersecurity is exploding globally. Right now, we're seeing that there's actually over 4 million unfilled jobs within that space alone. And companies just don't want people that have talent. They actually need people that can urgently solve the problem for them. And with companies now advocating for remote work, it means that they can hire you irrespective of your location, provided you have the skill set. Because now the career is not just rewarding, but it's rewarding because you're solving problems, and you're solving problems that does not require you to physically be there, which opens an opportunity for people, specifically youths or anyone looking to move into the digital space that is based in Nigeria at the moment, because 60% of cybersecurity roles also don't require any coding, which means that provided you have some of the soft skills and some of the key skill set, like your ability to manage risks, compliance, vulnerability assessment, you'll be able to add value. And there's even a lot of entry-level remote roles that are cybersecurity focused. And cybersecurity is no longer just a career, it's now becoming a global shortage. And whoever is able to fill this gap, irrespective of where they are, companies are willing to hire you.
So how do I get qualified for such opportunities, talking about the virtual work?
So one of the key things we're seeing right now is that people are focusing more on how to position themselves in terms of the traditional route, which is going back to school or getting a bunch of certification. But what we're seeing now is people wanting to have digital skill set. And it's not tied to a degree. Your ability to have transferable skills that you could utilize to solve problems for them, which means that due to this gap, what are the things that they are now needing? They need people that can present themselves to compete globally. So you rebuilding your skill set. So let's say you want to work in the cybersecurity space. You're understanding the tools that they use. You're understanding the process that they do. You're understanding how to position yourself in terms of your resume, in terms of the remote tools that they utilize, and also joining other global community experts that do not care about where you're based, that are already doing this. Because the real passport we're seeing right now is your skill. And the moment you solve a global problem, your income becomes global.
Yeah, but I mean, so how do I get that skill? You said transferable skills. Do I go to a school, an academics, online, get individuals? Reality, how do I do it?
So there are multiple routes that we're seeing that people are taking. Some people are self-learning, which means that you can go online, look for online certifications, and go through it and actually follow the modules and complete yourself. But we have a bunch of people, and we're seeing data even show that there are a lot of people like Proctor, which means they like the support, they like the accountability, and they like instructor-based setup that helps them be able to follow in modules. That is one of the things that we provide, and we're seeing a lot of digital-first training programs also providing to help Africans and guiding them through the process of identifying these soft skills that are needed, identifying the tools that are needed, teaching them to build proof using these tools. And when they've built the proof, now showing this proof by building a portfolio to show to companies globally that this is how I've solved this problem for people and I can come solve it for you.
Do we have cultural or operational hurdles to going virtual?
Yeah, so yes, so just like any industry, there are a lot of new processes that might not be a culture yet for people, because culture is basically a way of life. And now we're presenting a global first remote kind of working environment, which is still something that we are getting adjusted to. For example, one of the first things on the operational side is you need to learn the tools that you can utilize to collaborate with people remotely, like Slack, Trello, Asana, Zoom, even Google, and be able to use it properly. Also, the communication part, learning how to write clearly for people to understand without using innuendos that are particular to us Africans, or even how to present globally and being able to demonstrate how you utilizing the different tools also is a key. And also following processes. Over here, there's what we call SOPs, or standard operating procedures, that a lot of companies expect you to follow to the T, and being able to utilize and be reliable even in a remote environment where you are available, you are reachable, you are accountable, and even coordinating time zones, because some of the time zone might not necessarily align one-to-one with the West African time zone, and delivering work without micromanagement. Because you're working remotely, I cannot look over your head to see what you're doing on your computer when in comparing to when you're working in a physical office. So ability to adjust now, to be accountable, to know that you don't need to be micromanaged, to utilize the tools and follow processes are the cultural changes that we need to adapt to and be able to build accountability so companies will be willing to work with you.
But does the perception of Nigeria as a country, for instance, does it come into play here? You know, the perception that a lot of people outside the country have.
Yeah. So what we're seeing is that there are a lot of people, including myself, that are pushing to change the norm. So one thing about perception, it was started by somebody. So when perceptions happen, it requires someone else to change that. For example, if you find yourself working in an environment, it's important that you put your best foot forward. You utilize the tools, you utilize the processes, and you show, because the minute you're able to prove that, they'll be more willing to hire. I've seen a lot of companies or a lot of areas where, for example, this perception was there, for example, the country of Philippines, but now they've been able to build that credibility by having thousands of their citizens working remotely, changing their and adjusting their culture, and relearning and unlearning habits that have helped them now change that. In the US, we're seeing about 5 to 10%, actually pulling numbers away from India and China, who are providing a bulk of the remote work, now moving to Philippines. And Africa having one of the youngest populations, with Nigeria actually being one at the forefront of that, we have a global human capacity that the rest of the world is willing to listen to us and willing to give us an opportunity if we can prove beyond reasonable doubt. And a lot of groups already do. For example, we can talk about Andela, that has changed the game in the software development space, and there are multiple other groups that are providing this type of support globally. And companies in the US, the UK, France, and all of that are now shifting their perception on Africans.
Interesting. Africa is the future. I mean, it seems there's no question. It is which of the African countries will be able to, tap into it enough for their own good. I guess that's it. But just before we go, just in a very short minute, any tips for youths or anybody who's watching this program at this time and would really like to get into the space of virtual work?
Yeah, Nigeria has the youngest population in Africa, no doubt, and the fastest growing. And if you equip yourself with the digital security skills, AI literacy, and actually be remote ready, so learn the skill set, the tools, the processes for you to be able to work remotely, we are not just going to be reducing unemployment. We're going to be unlocking a generation of global earners, which means people that will live any monthly like $50 to $100 to earning thousands of dollars from the comfort of their home. And the digital economy is not the future. It is the present, and Nigeria deserves a seat at the table.
Dr. Fin Ditimi, founder of F&F Consultancy in Canada. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.